Welcome to our surprise Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Celebration and Service. Give everyone a round of applause for being here this morning. I said, give everyone a round of applause for being here this morning. Yes. So good morning. Welcome to our 4th annual City of Surprise Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Celebration and Service. My name is Seth Dyson. I am the Director of Human Service and Community Vitality. I am not Steve Irvin. He couldn't make it today, but I'm very pleased and honored to be able to step into his shoes. Again, welcome. Now, if you please rise for the presentation of the colors by the Surprise Police Department Explorers, and remain standing for the playing of the national anthem, followed by an invocation by Pastor Claude Sutton.
Right face. Detail. Hold. Preset. Arms.
Greetings to you all. We want to take this time to offer a prayer before God for this wonderful celebration. I truly believe that everyone can be great because anyone can serve. If you would just indulge us in prayer for this moment. Most Eternal Father, we thank you for this opportunity to come before you again, as the manner of some is. We pray, God, that you would invoke your presence in this place, that you allow for us to stand in the unity that was offered through this dream of Dr. Martin Luther King. We're thankful for just you being in our lives and giving us an understanding that through love we can do anything. And as we serve in one another, God, give us the courage to stand in light of the hatred of this time and let our love spread from one heart to another, giving us the mindset that we are promoting who you are. We want to thank you for those things that are occurring right now, for the preparers and the participators. And we ask, oh God, that you would constantly cause us to be one united in you, that as we see the challenges of the day, we would pray and we would love, we would encourage, we would uplift, that we will speak life to everyone, that we'll be that living epistle known and read of men throughout this time, that you would cause a change in this life, for what the world needs now is love. And God, you've given it to us, and we thank you. And we ask that you would continually guide us and give us the wisdom we need to make a change in the lives to come. In Jesus' name, we're offering this prayer. Thank God. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Sutton. Please be seated. Thank you again to our Surprise Police Department Explorers for the color guard this morning. And how about our national anthem performer, Johanna Yukaishu? Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you. Dr. King once said, "Everyone can be great because anyone can serve." You don't have to have a college degree to serve. You don't have to make your subject and your verb agree to serve. You don't have to know the second theory of thermodynamics and physics to serve. You only need a heart full of grace and a soul generated by love. Thank you all for coming here today, this morning, to share your heart and spread your love. What an amazing turnout this morning. Look at this. I think we even need more chairs in the back. Very good. What an amazing sight of neighbors joining together to celebrate the legacy of Dr. King and help carry that legacy forward by serving your community. You may have heard this before. Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? These wide words are also those of Dr. King's. You are making progress towards a better tomorrow. You are taking a step toward lifting up your neighbors. Thank you for taking the time to better your community. Your effort means something and truly makes a difference. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mayor Skip Hall of Surprise to the stage. Welcome, Mayor.
Good morning. What a great group. Shining faces, and beautiful day. Welcome to Surprise. I'm honored to be here with you today for this special event in honor of Dr. King. Here with me today is Lisa Gray on behalf of the Congresswoman Debbie Lesko. Lisa. And Arizona State Senator and Majority Leader Rick Gray. Rick. And State Representative Kevin Payne. Also, my fellow city council members are here with me today. Vice Mayor Roland Winters, Councilman Patrick Duffy, Councilwoman Nancy Hayden, Councilman Chris Judd, and Councilman David Sanders. Thank you very much for being here, you guys. This is one of my favorite events of the whole year because we gather to celebrate the legacy of a man who impacted the nation, and then we go out and make an impact on our city. We walk the talk. Community is built on common ownership, helping each other out, having pride in something together. You're here today to serve your community because you believe in taking ownership of your city. The sense of pride and interconnection you feel in a city isn't created by a mayor or a council. It's created by a community. And I truly believe we have the best community out there. Today, I want to encourage you with some words Dr. King spoke before a group of students at Barrett Junior High School in Philadelphia in 1967. He was inspiring them to be their best, and I believe we are stronger surprised when you are your best. He said, "Be a bush if you can't be a tree." If you can't be a highway, just be a trail. If you can't be a sun, be a star. For it isn't by size that you win or fail. Be the best at whatever you are. Your unique contributions to this city is just that, unique. Be you, be the best you. Let your talents be gifts to this community because it takes all of us working together to make Surprise a great place to live. In closing, I'd like to highlight one more Dr. King quote, one that I believe underlies all the others, especially in today's volatile times. Before any action we take, we must remember to move forward with love. We cannot be propelled by hate, anger, or spite. A community built on those principles would crumble. Hate takes effort and energy. It hurts the bearer as much, if not more, as it hurts the receiver. Love is simple and will only lead to good outcomes. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you, Mayor Hall. This event wouldn't be possible with very generous sponsors. I'd like to introduce them now. To our platinum sponsor, the Tohono O'odham Nation. Thank you to our gold level sponsors, Southwest Products and Steward Healthcare Network. Our silver sponsors, the Rotary Club of Surprise, One Step Beyond, who have delicious cookies over there for free if you haven't got one yet. And don't leave now, but go over there soon. Patricia Ryman, one of our Martin Luther King Advisory Committee members and generous sponsor, and our Surprise Youth Foundation. Our bronze sponsors are Chance Shelter, Steward Medical Group, the West Valley Symphony, and our own Ottawa University. And thank you very much to our friend of the event, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Surprise. Let's give them all a big round of applause. All right, can you believe this is our 4th annual event already? So give me a round of applause if you have been here all 4 years. All right. Now give me a round of applause if this is your first time here to our event. All right, very good. Thank you all for coming. You know, Dr. King worked to unite people and bring community together, just like we're doing today. That's what's so special about this event. We have participation from local churches, organizations, businesses, schools, and more. We have some fantastic performances for you now. First up, we welcome the Valley Vista's dynamic step team, the Stormtroopers, and then True Worship Dance Team will also take the stage. Let's give it up for them.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas.
What y'all came to do?
We came to step, right? We came to step. One more time. Hold it. We run this show and you got to know us now. It is so cold. We run this show. We run this show and you got to know us now. It is so cold. We run this show. We run this show and you got to know us now. It is so cold. We run this show.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be ours. when the war is won, we will be sure, we will be sure. Oh, glory, 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 oh, glory, 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 oh, glory, glory.
Wow, what a great couple performances. Let's hear it for the Stormtroopers of Valley Vista High School. And another round of applause for our True Worship dance team, youngsters here. Now I'd like to welcome Grand Canyon University professor and Martin Luther King Advisory Planning Committee member, Ms. Cheryl Pete, to the stage to introduce today's keynote speaker. Welcome, Dr. Pete.
Good morning. It's a little chilly, but we've warmed it up so far, haven't we? Feels good. It's a pleasure to introduce to you Ms. Kenja Hassan. Ms. Hassan, as the Director of Cultural Relations in Arizona State University's Office of Government and Community Engagement. Ms. Hassan works to develop a meaningful presence for ASU in diverse communities. In 2008, Ms. Hassan launched the State of Black Arizona. This project between the community and Arizona State is a collaboration that works to advance a better understanding of the changing dynamics of Arizona's African American population and the critical issues that require our collective attention in terms of education, health, care, the economy, culture, and leadership. Her work includes everybody, and as diversity increases in our state, she works very hard to expand and in these inclusive areas. Ms. Hassan holds a Bachelor's of Arts in Religion from Princeton University and a Master of Arts in Religious Studies from Arizona State University. Both of these studies emphasize American Indian religious ties to their land. She's pursuing a doctorate in ASU's College of Nursing and Health Innovation to better understand and address health disparities, particularly how HIV impacts African Americans. Please help me welcome Ms. Kinja Hassan.
Thank you, Dr. Pete, for the introduction. Good morning, Surprise, Arizona. Oh, wow, you guys are great. Let me hear that again. Excellent. You guys are fabulous. Thank you to the city staff who have organized this event. Thank you to the city leadership for supporting it for the last 4 years. Thanks to Irvin Cutright for inviting me to speak. And I'm so grateful to all of those of you in the audience who are going on to a day of service today. Your effort speaks volumes about the kind of people who live in this city. So on this morning, I very much appreciate you all severing your ties to your pillow in order to celebrate the remarkable accomplishments of one humble hero, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and to celebrate the kind of mindset that leads someone to like him to stand up in the face of adversity and be courageous. Because you know, and I know, that there are some days when you just don't feel like doing it. You wake up and you're like, ugh, I don't want to do it. Whatever that it is, it might be going to work, it might be going to school, it might be pulling weeds, it might be going to a community picnic with a bunch of people you don't know that well on a Saturday morning when you'd really like to be sleeping in. But I'm so glad that you chose to come here this morning, because on this day, we can greet each other with the kind of love that Dr. King so often discussed. Love that is not rooted in the color of your skin, but in the content of your character. Love that decides to see the human in you, the value in you, the greatness in you, despite how you might appear on the surface. Yes, this is a morning of gratitude, of acknowledging the sacrifices of courageous people like Dr. Martin Luther King and so many others whose work results in the wondrously beautiful lives that we get to enjoy every day. So on those mornings when I have those I don't feel like it moments and I don't want to get out of bed, I do a gratitude check. I literally sit there and I ask myself, and I lay there, and I ask myself, okay, Kinja, what do you have to be grateful for in this moment? Because you see, you get energy when you're grateful. So some mornings, it's as simple as, I am grateful that I can get out of bed. And by that, I mean, I got 2 feet that work, I got 2 legs that work, I got a back that works, so let me put them on the side of the bed and stand up. Because you know what? There will come a time when I won't be able to do that. And some of you may have already been to that time. And I'm grateful that you're here today if you've been through it and you know what I mean. Now, there's other times when my gratitude check is focused on people, like my parents. Now, a lot of you young folks in the audience, I know sometimes you get mad at your parents, and sometimes you forget to be grateful for the things that they do, like giving you shelter, and giving you food, and giving you clothes, and the opportunity to grow. Yeah. So when I think about my parents, my gratitude also extends to strangers. I acknowledge Richard and Mildred Loving of Virginia, because my parents, like the Lovings, if you don't know who they are, my parents are a union between a white man and a black woman. My parents married in 1969 in Washington, D.C. And yes, we just celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary in August. Yeah. And like the Lovings, the Lovings also got married in Washington, D.C. in 1958, although the Lovings were from Virginia. And at the time they got married, it was against the law in Virginia for blacks and whites to get married. So they got married in Washington, D.C. They went back home to Virginia. And in the middle of the night, they were arrested by police. They were harassed by their neighbors. They were forced to leave the state. And they were forbidden by a judge to return to the state of Virginia for 25 years. Imagine that. And this is where they grew up. This is where they knew each other from childhood. This was their home. So they courageously took their case to court, all the way to the Supreme Court, who in 1967 declared that state laws preventing people of different races from marrying was unconstitutional. Now that you know, perhaps some of you can also thank the Lovings for not letting others' hatred of their union impede their love for each other. And now they create a path for you or your parents or your children to marry someone that you love. So also, on those I don't feel like doing it mornings, some days I lay in bed and I look around at all the stuff I gotta do to keep the house clean and the yards out, the weeds out the yard, and things that need fixing. And I decide to be grateful for all of the circumstances that enabled me to own a home in Central Phoenix, including the Fair Housing Act of 1968, which outlawed most forms of discrimination in the buying and selling of property. And that Fair Housing Act was a direct result of all of the civil rights activity, including the work of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. So just like folks back in the day didn't want people of different races marrying each other, they certainly did not want them living near each other, especially when it came to nice neighborhoods, the neighborhoods with access to good jobs and good hospitals and good schools. So, I don't know if you've bought a house recently, but when I first got the title to my house in the mail with all the documents that I'm supposed to sign, it was my first time buying a house. And the original 1925 deed came in the package. And ironically, it was on top of the package. So I start reading this document from 1925, and it says in many places, ownership of said house shall never be transferred to a Negro, or a Mongoloid, or an Indian, or a Semite. And I'm like, oh my God. When I go to the title company to sign these papers and they realize I'm black, are they still gonna let me keep the house? You know? And I was like, okay, no, that time has passed. All of those laws are gone. I can officially own the house. But at the same time, this was around 2009, 2010, I also know that my bank was engaging in unfair lending practices and actually still steering black buyers to subprime loans. And as you know, subprime loans were the things that led to the housing crash, that led to the Great Recession of that time period. Luckily, my partner with whom I bought the house was an employee of the bank, so I think we got spared. But what it means is that discrimination in housing still has to be addressed, and the work in order to root those issues out, because they lead to bigger problems, still needs to continue. So much of the work to address discrimination and develop situations where people can live in unity together, now much of that work happens through the decisions of elected officials and the judges that they appoint at all levels. And thank you, electeds, for being here this morning. Now, this year is a special election year because it marks the 100th anniversary of women having the right to vote in the US. And like you just now, I am conscious of this, and I give gratitude to all the women who stood up for this right. Because, since I'm a homeowner, with that right to vote, they were also able to change laws that prevented women from owning property, because in that time period, if a woman owned property, when she got married, it belonged to her husband. Or if she was single, it belonged to her father. So I give thanks to women like Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Sojourner Truth, and Alice Paul. Did you know it took 72 years of organized activity for women to earn the right to vote? And women were working at it at the founding of this country. But when they finally got together to forge ahead, it was 72 years, an entire lifetime for some of us, before women could actually vote. And those women faced violence. Like African Americans during the civil rights movements and other eras, women who picketed in front of the White House in 1917 were arrested, they were put in jail, they were beaten, and they were tortured. Sorry, my nose is running with the cold. I apologize. Now, some of them who refused to eat while they were in jail as a form of protest, they were force-fed through a tube. Their jailers even attempted to have them committed to the hospital for the mentally insane. So now, some of you who know that, perhaps, thank you so much. Perhaps many of you who want your daughters to be able to earn wealth through home ownership and be able to pass that wealth onto their children, onto your grandchildren, then you should also extend gratitude to these women for going through what they went through. So, on occasion, my gratitude check gets lofty. I am often, literally, not kidding, grateful to the drafters of our Constitution because they understood that laws would need to change, and they built in mechanisms for those changes to happen. Now, the mechanisms that make change possible in our laws and in our government are fragile, and we as a people have to participate in that system if we want to protect that system. And why is this important? Yes, it's important to having a great city hall and having great roads and having great schools. But it's also important to the world. The world watches us. Why? Because there is no other nation in the world that reflects the world the way we do. Nobody has the diversity, nobody has the numbers, nobody has the languages, the cultures, all represented in a nation that is 330 million strong. Yes. So it is up to us to show the world that this grand experiment of people coming together, living together, making decisions together, that it can happen and that it does work. Your participation is essential. If we don't participate, we won't have a participatory government anymore. It works because you join in and you speak up. So why do I talk about all these other people on a day when we're supposed to be celebrating Martin Luther King Jr.? Because that's what he was about. You see, every change, large or small, requires the courageous to stand up. Folks like Dr. King, Harriet Tubman, Cesar Chavez, Abraham Lincoln, they were among the most courageous. But perhaps you are one of the courageous too. So while there might only be one surprise Arizona, and I'm glad to be here, Arizonans can be full of surprises. Because Arizonans gave women the right to vote in 1912 when we became a state. That was 8 years before it was ratified across the country. And Arizonans desegregated schools. Yes, we desegregated our schools 2 years before the Supreme Court ruling of Brown versus Board of Education. And we did. I love the cheering section in the back. Y'all just made my day. And Arizonans, after much wrangling with the governor and legislature, decided by a vote of the people to have a Martin Luther King holiday. We are the only state that made this holiday happen by our own vote, by our own choice. So, great. So citizens of Surprise, Arizona, you may be that courageous one who will stop a kid from being bullied in school. Yeah. You may be the one to tell a boss that a coworker is being treated unfairly. You might be the one to reach out to someone who feels helpless and give them hope. If you haven't yet had such an opportunity in life, I assure you, a time will come. And when that time comes, even if it's on one of those I don't feel like doing it mornings, will you be grateful for what you have and use the energy from that gratitude to take the courageous choice? Based on what I've seen this morning, I believe that you will. Thank you.
Let's do one more time for Kenja Hassan. Great job. Be courageous. I love that. All of us can be courageous in our own way, right? All right. We have a real treat for you this morning. I'd like to now welcome to the stage Candace Chavez. Candace is a really spectacular performer. She's a Showtime at the Apollo winner. This morning, she's going to be singing Never Give Up. Please help me welcome Miss Candace Chavez.
Good morning, all. Well, thanks for having me. I just want to dedicate this song to Irvin Cutright and to Skip Hall. So my encouraging word is to never give up. Persevere, move forward, be strong and vigilant. Visions that can change the world, trapped inside an ordinary girl. She looks just like me, too afraid to dream out loud. And though it's simple, your ideas, it won't make sense to everybody. You need courage now if you're gonna persevere. You gotta answer when you're called, so don't be afraid. Dream alive, don't let it die. It's something deep inside, keeps inspiring you to try. Don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Don't give up. Every victory comes in time. Work today to change tomorrow. It gets easier. Who's to say that you can't fly? Every step you take, you get closer to your destination. You can feel it now. Don't you know you're almost there? Oh, yeah, yeah, you gotta answer when you're called. So don't be afraid to face the world. Keep the dream alive, don't let it die. It's something deep inside, keeps inspiring you to try. Don't stop and never give up. Don't ever give up on you. Sometimes life can place a stumbling block in your way, but you gotta keep the faith. Bring what's deep inside your heart to the light and never give up.
check, check. One more time. That was beautiful. One more time. At this time, I'd like to invite all of the choirs to congregate over here. We're going to do one last song. We're going to do We Shall Overcome. While the choirs are congregating, I'd like to take this opportunity to celebrate our art contest winners. We had some amazing entries by students at our local schools, so it was very difficult for the advisory committee to narrow them down to the top 3. Right over here to your right, we have the winners displayed. If any of our winners are here this morning, we'd love to have you come up to the stage for a photo. So starting in 6th grade, from Imagine Prep School, Maya Melancala and Sophia Walker. 2nd place from Riverview Elementary, Johnny Navarro and Dominic Franco. And 3rd place from Riverview Elementary, Natalie Hernandez, Daisy Luna, and Lana Bucio. Come on up if you're here. All right. Come on up on stage here. We've got some plaques for you that you can hang up in your room for all eternity. All right, come on right up to the front so everyone can get a good look at you. All right, right over here. All right, what's your name?
Dominic.
Dominic, what do you want to be when you grow up?
A teacher.
All right, yeah, great. Let's give a shout out for our public servants out there. All right, come on up. What's your name and what would you like to be when you grow up?
Johnny Navarro. I would like to be a athlete.
All right, very good. Come on up here. This was not rehearsed, so they are very brave by me putting a microphone right in their face. Good morning, come on up. What's your name and what would you like to be?
My name is Daisy Luna, and I like to be a fashion designer.
All right. All right. I need your card. I could do some tips. Welcome. Good morning. What's your name and what would you like to be?
My name's Lana, and I want to be an author.
An author. All right. Very good. Come on up. Good morning. What is your name and what would you like to be when you grow up?
I like to be a doctor. And my name's Maya.
Maya. All right. Thank you, Maya. All right. And our first place winner here.
Sophia Walker, and I like to be a doctor.
All right. Give them a round of applause, everybody. Okay, let's do a quick photo here. Good job. All right, come on down here. Give it up for our 6th graders. Next up is our 7th graders. If you're here, please come up to the stage. First place from Arizona Charter Academy, Emma, Claire, Diamond, Oliver. Come on up. 2nd place from Paradise Honors, Alexis Rodriguez, Ava Boaton, and Michaela Gibbons. Our 3rd place from Riverview Elementary, Angelina Lopez and Serna Page. Come on up to the stage if you're here. Welcome. All right, welcome. What's your name and what would you like to be when you grow up?
My name's Emma, and I'd like to be a doctor.
All right. All right. Thank you very much. Congratulations. All right. Good morning. Come on up here. Congratulations. What's your name and what would you like to be?
I'm Serena, and I would like to be an artist.
Serena and the artist. Very good. Welcome. Come on up. All right. What's your name and what would you like to be when you grow up?
My name is Angelina, and I'd like to be a doctor.
All right. Let's give our 7th graders a round of applause here. Are you good? All right, come on down here. Congratulations. Let's give our 7th graders one more round of applause. Who thinks any of the 8th graders are even going to come up because I'm putting a microphone in their face? So let's see if they will. Be brave, be courageous. 8th grade, our first place winner from Riverview Elementary, Jocelyn Duarte, Lily Juliet, and Charity Sumner. Come on up. From our second place winners from Riverview Elementary, Alessandra Parra, Cruzito Lopez, and Elijah West. And our third place winner from West Point Elementary, Seth Boone. If you're here, come on up. All right. Great, come on up. All right. Please introduce yourself. What's your name and what do you want to be when you grow up?
Hi, I'm Lily, and I'd like to be a baker.
All right, good.
My name is Charity, and I would like to be a vet.
Good job. Come on. How about you?
I'm Jocelyn, and I like to be a doctor.
All right. Good morning.
I'm Elijah, and I would like to be an author.
All right, very good.
I'm Alessandra, and I like to be a photographer.
All right, good.
I'm Cruzito. I don't know what I want to be yet.
That's right. Congratulations, everyone. Isn't it eye-opening? That was the biggest cheer all morning. If I don't know what I want to be. Welcome to the crowd, Cruzito. Yeah. All right, congratulations. Come on down here. Congratulations, our 8th graders. But at this time, I'd like to welcome all the choirs back up to the stage for the singing of We Shall Overcome. You probably know the words. We want you to sing along too, so come on up.
We're ready to go. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe we shall overcome someday.
Let's give it up for all of our performers. Before we head out to our service projects, I'd like to thank the Human Service Community Vitality Department, our Communications, Parks and Recreation, Public Works, IT, our Police Department, our Fire Medical Department, Sports and Tourism, and all of the city staff that helped make this possible. Right now, I'd like to also recognize our Planning Committee. So if you're here, please stand. Van and Carol Gray, Rosalind Pettigrew, Cheryl Pete, Irvin Cutright, Patricia Ryman, Susan DeYoung, and Mary and Paul Outlaw. Please stand and give them a round of applause. Thank you, Advisory Committee. And thank you for all of you for coming to make this happen. Thank you so much for coming to our 2020 event. Appreciate all of your attendance and your ongoing spirit and service to our community. Thank you.